had the opportunity to early vote now for 2 full weeks. The June 28th primary is coming up rather quick. Be here before you know it. You got choices all across the ballot. Both parties, of course, you can't, cross-party. You can only pull either a Republican ballot or a Democratic ballot. But there are choices all up and down the ballot, including who will represent you in the new Illinois congressional districts. Illinois lost a seat in Congress for the forthcoming Congress because of continued population decline. So now we only have 17 seats. And the area Congress people that we had are shifting to other places. Darren LaHood's going further up north into the Peoria area. The 15th congressional district, still up in the air because the way the Democrats drew the map was they essentially put incumbents in the same district for the 15th. So for Republicans, you've got Mary Miller and Rodney Davis vying for that. But as part of that new map, you've also got this 13th congressional district, and we've talked to several candidates already about that, and including we talked with Matt Hausman last week, I believe. I have reached out to other candidates, including Terry Martin and as well as Regan Deering. But we've talked with the next guest here before. We talked with him again, Jesse Reising. He's a Republican running for the 13th congressional district. Of course, it's a contested primary, but I think it shows the interest in what exactly is going to happen with this particular district. So, Jesse, thanks for taking time with us this morning. How you doing out there?
Doing great. Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you had a debate last night. Tell us about that. Was it as lively as last night's Republican gubernatorial debate?
Yeah, the scheduling overlap was unfortunate, but certainly a lively debate. It was great to be out there and talk about the issues with the other candidates. It was our first televised debate, so we really got to talk about a range of issues and put our best foot forward.
Now, of course, this is the Republicans. There are several Democrats that are vying for their party's nomination on the ballot. But Jesse, for the Republicans, what are you hearing are the main concerns from the party faithful?
Yeah, so, really the fundamental character of our nation that propelled us to becoming the greatest country on the face of the earth is under threat because we've got an economy that's on the brink of disaster with record high energy costs and soaring inflation. We have skyrocketing crime rates amid disastrous defund the police efforts. Our schools are failing our children, our southern borders wide open, and President Biden is projecting such weakness and incompetence that he's both emboldening our adversaries, and he's also leaving people right here at home to feel less secure in their communities.
Jesse Reising with us. He is one of the several Republican candidates vying for the party's nomination for the 13th congressional district. And let's talk about one of the issues that, of course, has been pretty top of mind the past 24 hours. You had President Biden essentially saying that either ban what they call assault weapons or increase the age to purchase a AR-type rifle to 21 from 18. But you also had one congressman yesterday say, and I'm not going to use the word, but he said, "Spare me the BS," and talking about people who say, we've got this Second Amendment and constitutional rights and gun laws only go after law-abiding gun owners. He said that was BS. What's your response to that type of rhetoric?
Yeah, of course, my heart and deepest condolences go out to the victims of the recent tragedies in Texas and Buffalo, as well as their families. And, our nation is unwell right now. Going all the way back to Columbine in the 1990s, we've had a corresponding mental health decline in this country with rising so-called deaths of despair, increasing rates of suicide and deaths from alcoholism and drug overdose deaths. Just last year, we had another record drug overdose deaths, over 100,000 drug overdose deaths last year. So, I think this can be traced back to the decline of our communities, the decline of participation in civic institutions and church attendance. And the pandemic really exacerbated that because, it just made people feel even more isolated and felt like they couldn't turn to their communities or to their families for their issues when they're facing really difficult mental health issues. So what I want to do is put, addressing those mental health issues first and foremost, because again, these mass shootings, if you look back to the rise of those mass shootings, we've had a corresponding mental health crisis in this country.
Where do you stand on the ideas of increasing the age from 18 to 21 for purchasing rifles?
Yeah, I'm a constitutional conservative. I do believe strongly in the Second Amendment and in the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And again, if you look back to the rise of these mass shootings, in Texas, for example, 18-year-olds could buy these types of firearms long before the mass shootings ever started. So I don't think that really we can blame the age at which someone could purchase a firearm on the rise of these mass shootings.
We're talking with Jesse Reising. He is a Republican vying for the party's nomination for the 13th Congressional District here with Springfield's Morning News at 7:48. I'm Greg Bishop. Let's talk about gas prices. We heard the Energy Secretary yesterday say that she doesn't anticipate gas prices, after she says they level off, to go below $4 a gallon. Is that here to stay, and is that just inflation? How do we curb this? Because it's impacting pocketbooks right here in Illinois.
Yeah, President Biden has been waging a war on the oil and gas industry ever since he was a candidate. On day one of his presidency, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline, and my Democratic opponent, Nikki Budzinski, had a hand in canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. And then he's been halting new oil and gas leases and permits. And now he's praising these high gas prices as a period of, quote, incredible transition. So what's become clear is that these high gas prices are really no accident, because this is what the Green New Deal activists want. They want to inflict enough pain on hardworking Americans that they're forced to shift away from combustion engines in their vehicles and buy $70,000 Teslas. But I don't think that's a realistic solution for the hardworking people of our district. So what we need to do is unleash the American energy market, and that means pipelines, that means permits and leases, and it means drilling.
Jesse Reising, he is one of several candidates vying for the Republican nomination for the 13th Congressional District. We still got several weeks here. Early voting is underway. Jesse, I imagine we may talk again before June 28th. Greatly appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely. Would love to talk again. Thank you so much.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.